Who wants fans for life? Devoted, loyal customers, students, supporters, friends. This is what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about some of the principles and the elements in my book, Superfans. Yay! Sorry, we had some leftover balloons from Kai's birthday the other day. Anyway, thanks for being here. As you may know, I'm the author of the book, Superfans. And today, for the first time ever here on the income stream, I'm going to unpack some of this for you. I don't know why we've waited so long to do this, but welcome to day 175 of the income stream. Thanks for being here. My name is Pat Flynn, here to help you make more money, save more time, and help more people too. If you're here live with me today, say hello to your friends. Thanks again for joining me this morning. If you happen to be watching the replay, welcome in. And although you can't chat live, please comment hashtag team replay right now. And of course, hook me up with a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. And again, I appreciate you so much. We're going to unpack this book, some of the principles and specific strategies to help you unlock fans in your business, whether you're just getting started right now. In fact, you do have a huge advantage if you're just starting out right now. I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. Or if you have a brand that's been going for a while, I'm going to help you up level your audience. So let's do this. Welcome to day 175 of the income stream.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
It's good to see you all today. I appreciate you for being here. Anything cameras. Hello, Pat Flynn. Glad to catch another stream. How are you? I'm doing great. How are you? I hope all is well. Hashtag Team Live, says Zenny and Flood. Glad that you're here. Consult the Blind Guy, Mandy, Stephanie, great to see you here. GTO, where you can come and go. I love how you sing every time. That's so awesome. 175. Oh, dude, we got 25 left. 25 left until we get to the big number 200. We're going to have a very special show, extended episode, prizes, special guests, all that kind of stuff. But today we're talking about Superfans, and I want you to notice here on this cover, really quick, I want you to notice the cover here. Followers, no. Subscribers, no. Customers, no. Superfans, that's what we want. The easy way to stand out, grow your tribe, and build a successful business. There's a link for this in case you want to get it. You can get it on Audible, but there's a link in the description for Amazon as well. That is an affiliate link. Yes, an affiliate link to my own book. In fact, Amazon encourages that, which is really interesting. But I'm excited to pack this for you into this little package and unpack it for you today. And the reason why I wrote this book, in fact, a fun story about this book is this book was written 2 years ago in the month of November. November is called NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writers Month. And that month, I spent a month and about 6 days up until my birthday, December 6th, when I finished the last word on the first draft of this book. And then my team took it for the next several months, rehashed it, made it even better, and that became Superfans. We launched this book in July of last year at FlynnCon. People who were at FlynnCon, maybe some of you were there, you had the first look at it and you got it for free, which is pretty cool. And we launched it officially in August, and it became a #1 bestseller in multiple categories and still continues to make a lot of noise out there, and even more so than my other book, Will It Fly, which was in fact a Wall Street Journal bestseller. Although this one didn't make any of the lists, I feel like this one has a much bigger impact and is even more important, because after you start your business, or whether you're trying to grow an Instagram following or a following on your email list, or have people become customers or students or clients at some point, Superfans, in my opinion, are what we need to be building for. Let me give you the quick pitch on Superfans, and then I'm going to give you the strategies and unpack the sort of process for you. I'm not going to obviously tell every story in the book. I'm not going to go through every single strategy here, but I'm going to pick a few that come to mind that I think are going to be most helpful for you right now. So the idea of a superfan is, and I need to give credit to where credit is due. And in fact, if you haven't read this article yet, if you look up on Google, 1,000 True Fans, there's an article by a man named Kevin Kelly. It was written, I think, in 2006. And it's been updated over time, but this is, as you can see, this is like old school blog style. Kevin Kelly, the senior editor at Wired magazine, he wrote this article, and it inspired me when I first started online business. And it really tells a story of the fact that you don't need a blockbuster hit. You don't need millions of subscribers or millions of followers to make a huge impact on your own life and to build a massively successful business. If you're an entertainer, an artist, or an entrepreneur, it doesn't really matter. You don't need millions of followers. You don't need millions of followers or fans, or you don't need a blockbuster hit You just need 1,000 true fans. And when you do the math, 1,000 true fans times, let's say, $100 a year for the support, the love of your stuff, whatever it is that you do, courses, client work, merch, whatever. $100 a year for a super fan, a true fan to support you is not much at all. It's less than $10 a month. But let's do the math. $100 a year times 1,000 people is a six-figure business. And this is why when I say just starting out now, you have an advantage, it's true, because you can see that there are pockets of people in this world that need you, that need your help, and you can step up and niche down. And as I often say, the riches are in the niches, right? The riches are in the niches. And yes, I am standing up right now because I want to be fully energized for you today. And again, I'm super thankful that you're here. So a superfan is somebody who, for example, if you're a musician, they're going to drive 8 hours to see your set. They're going to wait backstage to take a selfie with you. If they are a customer of yours, they're going to buy your next product before they even read the sales page. If a troll shows up, they're going to be there on the front lines. Many of you I know are super fans, and I'm so grateful for you for that. You're going to show up daily on a live stream. That's kind of ridiculous, and I thank you again for that. But this is what we can gain. And again, you don't need a huge audience to build a massively successful business. Just try and shoot for 1,000 true fans. And the truth is, when you get 1,000 true fans, those 1,000 true fans are going to share it with 1,000 of their friends, and it's going to grow from the inside. And the thesis behind this book is really that we need to stop worrying so much about things to get more traffic, although we talked about that yesterday, and those things are still important. SEO, search engine optimization, of course, paying for ads, all these kinds of things are great. But then what happens when people come into our brand and they experience us? How do we then create moments over time that help them become a superfan? Because we could spend all this time getting you traffic, but if we're not also honed in on what happens after we get this traffic and the experiences that those people have, it's kind of all for nothing, I think. And you can do a lot more with fewer fans than millions of traffic that just aren't going to come back, right? So we want to shoot for superfans, right? Superfans, the people who will continue to come back. And this to me is business insurance. This is platform agnostic, meaning this is something that no matter what happens in technology, if Facebook goes away or Instagram or whatever happens, years down the road, you're going to have people still continue to follow you where you go, be there when you show up, because they like you for you, right? They like you for you. And again, the fact that you are starting out now, if you're feeling like maybe a little bit smaller, guess what? You can do a lot of the strategies in here better than a lot of the people who are much bigger brands. So hopefully that provides a lot of encouragement for you. But the truth is this: fans aren't created the moment they find you. They're created by the moments that you create for them over time. It's about those moments, the things that happen after they find you. Again, I don't want to discount the importance of going out there and trying to get traffic and all that other stuff, but I do want to hone in on the idea that it's going to take time. And the reason why most people don't focus on building super fans in their business is because it's not a very clear dollar for dollar ROI, right? It's not as sexy as a funnel. And a funnel, if you imagine a funnel, looks like this, right? At the top, you have traffic, just traffic coming into this funnel. And then you build systems so that some of that traffic will convert into subscribers. Some of those subscribers kind of going down the funnel will convert into part of your community or become customers. And then hopefully some of them might become fans one day. But it's all about the customer journey, right? And then we always talk about that, the customer journey, the customer avatar, the customer this, customer that. But there's so much more than just having people become customers. And the cool thing about a funnel is you can just pour water, right? Pour traffic in from the top. And then if all the systems are there, it'll start to work, right? You have your evergreen models, your systems that are built, your email autoresponders, all these things to then calculate how many people come in, how many of them convert. You can increase conversions by helping the conversion rates all throughout that funnel. And that's pretty cool, right? But I like the inverted funnel. Let me see if I can find the picture of it here. This book in particular, this literal book that I'm holding right now is very special to me because this is the first one I saw at an airport. But I want to flip this upside down, as you can see there. And I'm going to talk about this and why this is different than this funnel. This is the way that superfans are oriented. Oh, there's my receipt. Where was this, by the way? Atlanta International Airport. When was this? October 3rd, 2019. So almost a year ago that I found this book in the bookstore at the airport. Anyway, thinking about the inverted funnel or a pyramid, right? The bottom is where we send most people. Any new traffic comes in at what's called the casual audience level. This is people who just found you. They might not know who you are. They just stumbled upon your live stream. They saw your article on Google. They saw it linked to on another website. But this is the biggest part of our audience, right? And then as we move up the pyramid, we need to convert those people into subscribers or active audience members. They know who we are. They like our stuff. We come out with a product. They may or may not buy it, but they know who we are, what we stand for. They're active members of our audience. And then we need to convert some of them into the next level, which is our connected community. So we have casual audience, the largest one. Then we need to move up the pyramid into active audience, subscribers, followers, people who know we exist. And then we move up from there into our connected community, which is where people now start to feel like they get to know each other, right? It's not just about you talking to your audience and your audience talking to you, but it's your audience talking to each other, right? Much like how many of you are here as a community speaking with each other too. And there's a lot of things I talk about in the book about how to bring your community together. I'm going to go over a number of these strategies. We're actually going to go through this journey from the bottom of the pyramid to the top of the pyramid. And then of course, at the top of the pyramid, right at the top are your superfans, the smallest chunk, but the most powerful chunk, right? Now, funnel works by pouring water in and it just comes out because all those things are automated. Unfortunately, when it comes to building superfans, a lot of the stuff cannot be automated. A lot of it can, but it's going to fight gravity. It takes work. It takes effort to come up the pyramid. And again, it's about these moments over time, right? When you hear a new song on the radio that you really like, you're not an immediate fan of that band, but you might do a little bit more research, check out their playlist on Spotify and their albums, and then you might watch them on YouTube for a while and then fall into a little rabbit hole where you're consuming all their stuff and their interviews, and then all of a sudden you're buying tickets to their concert, and then you're backstage VIP, and then you're all of a sudden collecting their memorabilia and have action figures and stuff in the closet, right? So this is what we want. We want people to think about us, for us to be their favorite, but it's not going to take one moment. It's going to take multiple moments over time. So, quick story. I'm going to tell you this story. It's a little embarrassing, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. So, my wife is a huge fan of the Backstreet Boys, right? Huge fan. She actually calls them her boys. They're her boys. And I always knew that she loved this band. I was, in fact, a fan of NSYNC. I was more of a JT, Justin Timberlake, ramen noodle hair kind of guy. But we still got together. We still got married in 2009. It was awesome. And we have let those differences still sort of be there anyway. But in my research for Superfans, I went to a source of somebody who I knew was a super fan of somebody, and I went to April. I actually asked her some questions about how she became a super fan of the Backstreet Boys. And this conversation was really interesting because after 2 hours, literally her remembering the first moment all the way to the last concert she went to, and in fact, when I was asking her these questions, she had just recently gotten back from a VIP access thing with Nick Carter and all this stuff. Anyway, she took me into the closet and she took out a box I didn't even know existed. I don't know how it slipped by me, but she opened this box, and in this box were bobbleheads, action figures, calendars, posters, magazine covers, and the piece de resistance was a framed picture of Nick Carter. And I had no idea this stuff existed. This is the kind of stuff that a super fan will do, right? So anyway, it was fun to unpack that story because she told me every single moment, and I saw in every single moment, like I teach in this book, the journey that she took to become a super fan, because it didn't happen the first time she heard the song. So let's start there. Let's start in the beginning. When we have our audience first discover us, we need to convert them from a casual viewer, casual listener, casual reader, into an active member who will now actively seek out more of our stuff, whether through subscribing or following on a social media platform. That's what we need to do, right? That's what we need to do. So let me go back to April's story here a little bit. She told me a story about the first time she remembered paying attention to this band. And this story is so important because it really highlights how important a certain element of what we do as online entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people trying to build following online need to do. So she said that when she was 15 years old, She went through this breakup with her boyfriend. It was a terrible breakup. And she was like crying on her pillow at her house. And, there was no Spotify. There was no iPods at the time. I'm dating her a little bit. But she had was the radio on. And on the radio, there was a song that was playing. And this song was, she said these words, "I heard it a lot before, but this time it felt different." And I was like, well, why did it feel different? She said, because every single word in the song was describing what she was going through in that moment, right? And I was like, what's the name of the song? And she's like, "Quit Playing Games with My Heart" by the Backstreet Boys, right? That was the hit song at the time. It was on the radio all the time. But because internally she was thinking these things that the band was saying, like heartbreak and all this other stuff, in the same language that she would respond to in that moment, that was the activation trigger. And what we have to do as marketers and people online is we have to activate our audience using the same lyrics that our audience will respond to, right? Jay Abraham, a famous marketer, once said, if you can define the problem better than your target customer, they're going to automatically assume that you have the solution. So we need to really dive in on what lyrics our audience is going to respond to. This is an easy way. Take some time to do the research and have conversations. And that's what I would recommend, having conversations. But once you understand the words that people use to describe what they need help with, then you just bounce those words back to people, right? And I don't know if you remember this strategy in some of the email marketing related income streams that we talked about, but using surveys and actually having conversations, I discovered a lot of the language that my target audience used, especially when I asked questions like, what are you struggling with? What are you challenged with right now? Right? And April here is saying, that's why it's not my April, different April. Thanks for being here, April. I'm glad you were able to catch it today. That's why it's so important to get inside the heads and hearts of your ideal customer. Yeah, not just the head, but the heart as well, the emotion behind it. Thank you, April, for saying that. We'll talk about, Scooby Life says, superfan versus super stalker. We'll talk about the difference between those. And in fact, at the last part of the book, I talk about some dangers, in fact, of having superfans and whatnot. But indeed, your superfans await you for sure. But to continue on this idea with relation to the email income stream that we had a while back, the more advanced one, pulling these lyrics out and then just giving it back to people on your sales page and your emails and whatnot, you're going to get people respond with things like, I can't believe you know me that well. In fact, if I could pull it up live here with you, I'm going to see if I can pull up this part of the example of a presentation I have. Let's see, recent email presentation. Yeah, I think I could pull it up for y'all. So in my research, for example, I found that people were describing their business like this. I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. These are my audience's words, not mine. I don't know where to start. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. I'm not sure what kind of business I'd like to create. The fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. We got these in conversations that we were happening. And we were able to infer that these people had no business. They have the itch to get started. They read and listen to a lot of content. And this became a bucket, one of 3 in my audience. Yo, team live today. Hey, Archer. Yo. Welcome in. Thanks for coming in live today, dude. Super dope. So glad you're here because usually you're team replay. So thanks again. So I asked this question, what's your number one challenge? And then, of course, in my emails, I focus on using the same language. So this is an email that my bucket 1 people in my audience who I now know because they've answered a certain survey question or because they've taken a certain action on my website. I now know that they are somebody who's just starting out, they're afraid to get started, etc. All the things, right? So check this out. Here, I have an email subject line that says, future entrepreneurs read this. I'm really playing into what it is that these people ultimately want. They want to be an entrepreneur. And then in here, I have certain elements. Read this. Quick question. Do any of the following statements reflect where you are right now with your desire to create an online passive income business, right? And then I have literally, this is the email that people get. I take the same language that they gave me earlier and I give it back to them. I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. The fear of failure is stopping me from moving forward. I don't know where to start, right? I don't know where to start. What else is here? I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. So boom, I put it, this is where I got this from, right? So now check out the responses. Actually, is it here, the responses? Yeah, here are the responses people give me to this email. Lourdes says, Pat, I feel like you're in my head. I'm thinking single one of those things constantly. Jacqueline says, wow, all those statements and more definitely describe how I feel. Essien says, I've never met someone who's so vividly, literally, so vividly described me when it comes to building a business like you've just done. What are the chances that these people are now into my brand, that they're now going to subscribe, that they're now following me, that they're now going to want to know what to do to solve these problems, right? So how else might I use this same language? Again, we're talking about the lyrics that your audience is going to respond to. Guess what? I have a book called Will It Fly? This was a cool picture of somebody literally flying in, I think, an F-14 or F-16. I don't know what the plane was, but with the book in his hand, which is pretty cool. But check out the subtitle to this book. How to test your next business idea, wait for it, so you don't waste your time and money. Literally the same thing. Yes, I push this out via ConvertKit after people subscribe or take some sort of action with me and help me through a series of things that I do in my email to essentially survey people as soon as they subscribe on the list. If I don't know where they're at, I want to know where they're at. And this way I can give them more information that is relevant for them too. Cool. Karen, my first webinar is going to be on someone else's stage next week. Congratulations. That's awesome. And best of luck to you, Karen. Keep up the great work. So I wanted to hone in on that focus of strategy on lyrics. How we can pull in the lyrics from our audience. We can just literally give it back to them in your blog posts, podcast episodes, YouTube videos. Stop fighting to guess what your audience wants to talk about and how they talk about it, and literally just ask them, discover conversations that are already happening, see where in forums and groups and in Google searches people are asking for help, and just regurgitate that same information back. They will see you as a leader because of that and will want to now work with you even further. So we just talked about a very specific strategy about how to get people who just find you for the first time to then activate into now an active follower, right? An active follower. I'm going to give you one more example, my favorite example, in fact, that again, this is the largest part of the audience, the people who just discover us, people who, because we pay for ads or now in our business, because we're working on search engine optimization, or we have a link from another website, or people are sharing our stuff on social media to brand new people discovering us for the first time. That's our largest part of our audience. And we want to keep as much of that audience as possible, right? So let's move on to the next tip. Again, talking about people who just found us, to trigger them, to activate them to become an active audience member. And I have to tell you another story. Lots of stories in this. And as you know, this is my book. So there's a lot of stories in the book that I can remember and pull out. I've presented on this topic several times. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. It needs to be heard, in fact, by everybody, in my opinion. So the best way to get people to remember something and to share it is to tell stories. So here's another story for you. Back in the olden days, this was before I actually became an entrepreneur, before I was let go. I was a huge personal finance blog nerd. Do y'all remember, chat, when you used to wake up in the morning and check your RSS feed reader? Right? Your RSS feed reader is the thing that you would wake up to and sort of see all the new bloggers who created content, right? And then you would just read it. Do you guys remember RSS feed readers? Like, this is back then. And I was subscribed to, I think, 25 different personal finance blogs. And it was one in particular that I wasn't a huge fan of because he was a little aggressive. The title was a little off-putting, so I actually did not have him in my RSS feed reader. And this was a person named Ramit Sethi from IWillTeachYouToBeRich.com. Any Ramit Sethi fans? Well, I was not a fan of his at first, until one day I discovered an article of his that was getting passed around the entire industry, and it was essentially titled How to Save 20% on Your Cable Bill in 15 Minutes. And I was at lunch one day, and I was like, really? Like, I pay, $100 for my cable bill every month. Like, I could literally bring that down to $80 or even $75 in just 15 minutes, really? Okay, well, I have 15 minutes. I'm gonna take some time during lunch to call my cable company, read the script that Ramit lays out for you, and just see what happens. I was willing to give him 15 minutes, and plus everybody else was talking about this, right? So I call my cable company. I save 25% of my cable bill. And it was that moment that I was like the biggest Ramit fan ever, right? because, and not a super fan yet, but that was like, whoa, what have I been missing out on this whole time? Whoa, this person actually has already gotten me more results than all these other bloggers, right? Because think about it. When it comes to personal finance, you have the camp of people saying, oh, save $25 a month in this account, and then when you're 65 and retired, then you can enjoy it. Versus Ramit, who in 15 minutes gave me hundreds, if not over years, thousands of dollars in savings right then and there. So I'm talking about the small, quick win. The ability for us as people to, as soon as people come in, offer something that doesn't take very long to achieve a result. And there's so much power in the small, quick win. It's so powerful that there's even books that are very popular because of how small and quick and easy those concepts are, right? Like The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Hey, wake up earlier, meditate, do affirmations, visualizations, exercise a little, read, and do some journaling, and you'll be good. You could literally do that in a day and see different results and have a more open mind, and then now you're sharing it. It's more shareable. Think about the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins. Hey, if you're struggling to do something, if you're a procrastinator and you know you need to do something, just count down from 5 and do it. And then there you go. So super simple, easy concepts, quick wins, get big results, right? And if you want to change somebody's life, which I think we all do, or we want to help people out in big ways, start by changing their day first. And Ramit, that day, changed my day. And then, of course, being a personal finance nerd, I was like extrapolating, wow, over 30 years, Ramit saved me over $100,000 in just 15 minutes. I knew that Ramit was somebody that I should follow. And I, in fact, unsubscribed from everybody else and just started following Ramit stuff. And in fact, that was super inspirational because Ramit is in the camp of go and have that latte. Like, you don't have to save that $4.25 from Starbucks because you enjoy that. And that's a part of your life and things that you enjoy. Like, why would you take that away? But to compensate for that, go for big wins in your life. Go for the refinancing of your home. Go for that increase in your pay at your job or that promotion. Go for that new business idea. And that was hugely inspirational for me when I first started. So Anything Cameron says, how do you determine if you have superfans? And if so, how many do you have? It's not really a quantifiable thing, but it's more of a feeling. And when you have people showing up every day in your live streams, when you have people buying your products and you see the same name every time, when you have people showing up to your live events, when you have people who are emailing you often to say thanks, that's a good sense that you have these superfans, people commenting in every single video that you come out with. These are great things. Money Matter, what's up, Money Matter? Great to see you here. Tim and Alfredo, awesome. My first story on a live stream. Thanks for all your work, Pat. You're welcome, Alfredo. So hopefully these 2 tips to get people who just find you to become now active subscribers can help you. Learning the lyrics of your audience and giving them a small, quick win. Start small to go big. If you want to change somebody's life, start by changing their day first, right? There we go. Thanks for the thumbs ups, by the way. On the lower right-hand corner here, you'll see a way for you to offer a thumbs up to the video to help it be seen by other people. That would help me, it gives me energy, and I'm going to give that energy back to you. Okay, so let's move up this pyramid a little bit. Again, we're talking about the pyramid. This is what I like to call the pyramid of engagement. There's a lot of other names that I have for it, but this is right here. We just figured out part 1, casual audience to active. We're going to go now from active to connected. Now, the connected part is really fun because when you do this right, your audience will start to get to know each other, right? And if you think of different influencers, personalities, brands out there who have fans, they often have like a name for themselves. In fact, that's actually one specific strategy. Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. That's in fact one specific strategy that I recommend, is to actually give a name to your audience, especially once you start to gain momentum and you start to have people continually show up. Giving them a name is great, right? For example, fans of Justin Bieber are the Beliebers. And although many of us aren't believers, if you are a believer, you find other believers and you hang out with each other. It's much like at a sports game, right? Where you might be in the crowd and your team hits a game-winning grand slam. You're like hugging people, and you know, this is pre-COVID, obviously. And anybody with the same ball cap that you have, supporting the same team, you're high-fiving, you're sharing drinks together, you're just having a great time, and you don't even know who those people are. That's the power of community, is because of you, because you're facilitating these interactions, because you are bringing people together and you're that reason, you're helping people experience something that they're going to continually want to come back to. And in fact, another quick story, I often, when I go and speak, or when I used to speak, because again, COVID, I would often rent out a restaurant or a coffee shop or something and just say, hey, everybody, whoever's in the area or whoever's at this event, come and hang out and we'll be together. And in 2013, in St. Louis, there was an event called FinCon, Financial Blogger Conference. And Abdallah says, I cannot send super chat from my country. I wish I could do to support this month's cause. Keep up the good work, bro. No worries, no worries. And we're supporting teachers all month and buying stuff for teachers who are paying out of pocket. So all good, no worries. But thank you for wanting to support. That in and of itself is enough support, just you saying that. So thank you so much. So I was at this event, right? A lot of stories today. And I rented out this pizza joint. People were having pizza, salads, beers, Cokes, etc. And there was about 150 people there who were there because I set this thing up. And it was really cool because not only was I able to talk to people, but I was seeing people talk to each other and shake hands and have fun and laugh with each other. And that was so cool to see. And I remember at the end of the night, I saw a woman who I had yet to even see the entire night. And I felt bad because sometimes people come from really far distance to come and I wanted to shake hands with everybody. And I go up to her and I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry that we weren't able to chat. Maybe we could chat later or maybe online if you're not at the event. And she was like this. She was like this. Pat, please don't take offense to this, but I didn't come here to see you. And I was like, dang, man. Like, really? Okay. Harsh. But why are you here? And she said, no, please excuse me. I love your show. I listen to you every week. Thank you for what you do. You've helped me out so much and immensely. And I'm so glad I get to meet you right now. But I came here because you offered a place for me to find people like me. And I never have the opportunity to talk to other people who get it. And thank you for putting this together. And that was a big eye-opening experience for me. To, first of all, have her sort of like stop me in my place for a second. And I appreciate that when that happens, so that I can think consciously about what's going on. But more than that, I was able to understand that she came because of the community that was brought together. And yes, that community wouldn't have happened if I didn't bring that community together and facilitate that space. But it was her interacting with other people like her, Team Flynn. That was the reason why she came. This is the reason why I've been here live every day. Because honestly, it's not about me. It's about creating a space for people, especially in these dire times, to come together to find support for each other. And now you here in Team Flynn have created like your own Slack channel. You've built relationships. You've actually collaborated with each other because of this. And you guys wouldn't have been able to find each other if it wasn't for somebody stepping up and creating this container for these interactions to happen. And guess what? We all have the ability to do the same for our audience, big or small. Because as they often say, people will come for the content, but they're going to stay for the community. And I know that many of you are here, and if you're here live, in fact, give a shout out to some of the notables here who you have built a relationship with, just so other people who are just coming into the community can see just how powerful creating a space for your community to come together is. Ideally, this can be done in person, and I saw this happen in person at FlynnCon. It could be done online in a free setting like this. Live streams are a very, very easy way for you to step up and create a space, not for you to talk to your audience and your audience to talk to you, although that's going to happen, but for your audience to come together, right? Yes. Love this. Thank you. Hello, Tech React Time. Glad to see you here. So create these moments, create these opportunities, create these spaces for people to come and connect with each other. This is an entire chapter in my book, the idea of creating gigs, whether online, offline, formal, informal, doesn't matter. Community lives on. In fact, in this book, I highlight a friend of mine, Scott Dinsmore, who is unfortunately no longer with us. He passed away way too young on a hike up Mount Kilimanjaro. I mean, he was in his 20s and he passed away. But he had built a brand called Live Your Legend. And within the Live Your Legend brand, and RIP Scott, he facilitated meetings every few months where his community would come together. And he would lead one meeting, but at the same exact time throughout the world, because he had a worldwide audience, he had these people who were empowered to create their own versions of the same meeting as well, all happening at the same time, so that they, together as a community, had in different locations around the world in-person meetings or virtual meetings where people were coming together. And even to this day, his wife still continues to manage Live Your Legend. These meetings still continue to happen, even without Scott there. And he is there in spirit, and it's because he's created this amazing community, right? Elaine says, sort of new here, lurking a bit, but loving to listen to you and learn through the comments too. Thank you, Elaine. Yeah, you don't have to participate. Just be here, be present, see the community. They're often very helpful, very noisy in a great way. Thank you, guys. But yeah, Scott Dinsmore was amazing. His wife is carrying on his legacy since his passing. It was such a terrible loss. Sometimes I have little moments where I'm just, because he and I used to get lunch together, and yeah, he was a good man, and has created some amazing momentum as a result of bringing his community together. That's what his brand was really about. Yes, it was Live Your Legend, but it was coming together, and that was great. So I'm thankful that I get to continue to pass on his legacy and help more people understand the importance of community, because that's what really he taught me, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're still on the second part of the pyramid, helping people go from, hey, we just found you, to now active. We talked about that, but now active, subscriber, follower, maybe even customer, but having them feel like they're a part of the community. And the biggest thing here when it comes to making people feel like they're a part of the community is one keyword here. And that keyword is belonging. Helping people make sure they feel like they belong. Now, when I was in school, when I was a kid, I was very short, literally not more than 5 feet tall my senior year of high school. That's a short kid, right? And I found refuge, because I got picked on a lot, I got bullied. I found refuge in the marching band. The marching band, you blend in, like you're supposed to blend in, even though like height-wise I didn't. I wore the same uniform as everybody else. We weren't supposed to stand out, and that's where all the other weirdos were. So I was a weirdo with all the other band nerds, right? So anyway, I had a lot of friends in band. Many of them were very athletic, in fact, and liked to play basketball. And because they were friends, they would invite me to play basketball with them too. But because I was so short and not very athletic back then, I never got past the ball. I never got a chance to shoot. So even though I was on the court with my friends, I never felt like I belonged. And in our brands, in our business, often we could set up the scenario. We could set up the court. We could set up the stadium. We can even invite people in. They could literally be standing on our court and yet still feel like they don't belong. And there's a lot of things that I talk about in the book specifically about how to make people feel like they belong. Thank you, Babito. Yeah, I got bullied. It sucked. Ear flicks during lunch, getting tripped while walking to class, like that kind of stuff. It really did not help my self-esteem. But again, I this is a part of the reason why I'm a huge music nerd and band nerd. It's because that's where I found friends who never did that to me. But even though, and it wasn't on purpose, I got invited to play basketball and didn't feel like I belonged on the court because I never got past the ball. So I do a lot of fun things in my audience, with my audience, to make them feel like they belong. So as many of you know, when I am doing a new project, I get you involved with it in many cases. I show you behind the scenes, which is another strategy to let people in on your process, but also to get them involved and in fact have some influence. And there's some easy ways to do this. In fact, when I wrote this book, and all my books, in fact, a way to not just market the book, but to get people involved in the process, again, to make them feel like they belong, is to make sure they feel like they are heard, right? So one thing I love to do is share like different versions of the cover and actually have my audience vote on which one they like best and why, and actually, interact with those people and say thanks and respond. Another way to make them feel like they belong is when they extend their hand out for a handshake, to never leave it unanswered as much as possible. Now, when you grow bigger, it's much harder to do that. When your brand grows bigger, it's harder to have direct interactions with every single person. But this is why, if you're just starting out, you have a huge advantage over bigger brands like me, because you have the ability to actually, in fact, give personalized attention and not just shake a person's hand back virtually because, COVID, but actually make them feel welcome, right? So if you have a small community, a small brand, small Facebook group, small following, get to know who those people are, ask them what they need, learn about them, learn about their needs, pains, wants, struggles, desires, and then you're going to have a much better opportunity to have them feel like they belong to something. And the beauty of Superfans is this. when you build superfans and a community within your business, those people are going to feel very comfortable and in fact almost feel empowered to grow your brand for you by bringing other people like them in. So now you actually no longer have to spend as much money or time on SEO. That stuff should still happen, or it can happen. But now your audience is bringing not cold, brand new, casual members in, but they're already bringing active members in for you. This is the power behind Superfans, people. The people within the brand. Many of you have done this as well. Invited your friends here, or have mentioned my courses to people, or have said, hey, you got to listen to Pat's podcast. And that's now a person who's not cold anymore. They're warm because of the people inside the brand already. So this is, again, the power of Superfans and why this process is so key. So we talked about having people who just find us become active audience members. So this is by way of connecting with them through the lyrics, the words that you use, having them understand that, right? And also small, quick wins, giving your audience a way to get something actually tangible that they could take away from finding you just for the first time within 10, 15 minutes, just like Ramit did. Then we talked about how to turn people from active audience members to community members in the way that, maybe naming your community, showing up and creating a space where your community can meet with and speak with each other virtually and in person when that becomes possible again. And then also the idea of allowing your audience to feel like they're a part of a process with you, make them feel like they belong to something, right? Naturally, some of those community members are going to become superfans. They're just going to become superfans naturally, right? However, it's important to know that there are some things that we can do to have people become superfans who are in our community, who maybe just need a little bit of personalized attention. And this is where we get to the point where many people go, oh, well, Pat, this is why this is not possible. It's because it's not scalable. It's not automated. First of all, it can be scalable through hiring a team and having your team members feel the same about your audience too and interact with them in the same way. But number two, some things in our business just shouldn't be scaled in an automated fashion, right? I know some people who use some of the tools that I'm about to mention and in ways that are like, no, don't do it that way. Like you're defeating the whole purpose of this. And so my best tip for you to turn people from casual audience member to active audience member, active to community, and part of your community to a superfan is this. Unexpected moments of surprise. Surprising things. Do a very good job of having people activate, wow, this is different. I need to keep coming back. This is unexpected. The unexpected surprise, right? I always tell this analogy. It's like if you have a spouse and you go to bed with them every night, and every night you say, good night, honey, I love you, right? Like literally every night you say that. It's just part of your routine, right? And it doesn't mean less, but it's just expected, right? So it's just the usual thing. And it almost becomes much like how sometimes if you hear the same ad over and over again in podcasts, it's just like you don't even hear it anymore because it's just something that's always there. You sort of tuned it out. And oftentimes we think that, saying goodnight, honey, I love you every night is good enough. Whereas if you were to just walk into her office at 3:48 p.m. on a random Tuesday with a rose and just say, hey, this is just because, like no holiday, no birthday, nothing, you just do that. That's what gets remembered. That's what gets talked about. That's what gets the other people in the office jealous. That is what matters. Those small little unexpected surprises where it's literally you taking some time to think about how you can make another person feel special. And that moment of feeling special is the key, right? This is why Disney has so many superfans. It's because there are so many elements that Disney includes in their brand to make people feel special. These magical moments, these little surprises, from hidden Mickeys to just how characters interact with the audience to the way rides are and special moments even within the rides themselves. So GTO says, Pat sent me a book out of the blue once. It was quite surprising. Bernard said, I had some returning customers today. Awesome. Doug says, unexpected moments of surprise equals super pattern shifts. Yes, pattern interrupts to the max for sure. And a lot of times you might think, I need to buy something. I need to go out of my way to make this person feel special. But the truth is you don't. The truth is people just want to know that they are being heard or that you see them, right? This is the easiest thing to do. How can you have your audience or a specific individual or individuals in your audience know that you see them? This is what's going to have you stand out from all the other brands that are out there. And there's some really, really easy ways to do that. In fact, I'm going to demonstrate one of them for you right now. So I'm going to go to Instagram. And I have been indeed experimenting with Reels lately. They've been a lot of fun. I'm going to go to my latest Reel. And I'm going to go to somebody who, Owen Video. Haven't reached out to him in a while, but he replied to a comment on one of my latest streams and just laughed. So I'm going to reach out to Owen and just make sure that he knows that I know he's there, and just to kind of check in on him and see how he's doing. And I'm doing this live for you right now. So I'm going to go and create a little video for Owen right now. You'll see how long this takes. Actually, I'm spending more time talking about this than actually doing this. Yo, what's up? Owen, Pat here. I hope you are doing well. Just wanted to say hello and say I'm thinking of you. And if you have any cool projects that you're working on, let me know. I'd love to support you with them. But keep up the great videos. I loved your Reels that I've seen recently, especially with your family and involved in those. Anyway, just want to say I appreciate you. And I know that we can't see each other at events this year, but hopefully we'll get to run into each other soon. See you, man. Send. These videos get like a 99% response rate. And they don't just have to be with people who you already know, but you know that they followed you, that they've answered a post of yours or have liked something of yours. And I promise you, it will blow their minds. This is unexpected. It's a surprise and it's free. It just takes a little bit of time. So here's one thing I do in my business. Every Friday, so let me get a little bit closer because this is kind of a secret. Every Friday, I go on a walk for 30 minutes. Guess what I'm doing during that 30 minutes? I'm literally doing exactly what I just did. And I can get through 60, 70 different videos that I send out for people, just saying thanks. You know what this is called? This is called digging your well before you're thirsty. Because it's these little interactions and these moments of making people feel special that are going to have them be more in tune with who you are and your brand. Nobody else is doing this, but we all have the opportunities and the tools to do it. So I want to challenge you today. Can you reach out to 5 people on a social media platform of your choice and just give them a quick personalized video with nothing but a thank you? You're not asking for anything in return. It's that awkward moment when you need something and you haven't reached out to somebody in a while and then you ask for it, right? Like you come out with an ebook and you're like, hey, Joan, I know that we haven't spoken in 5 years, but hey, I have this new ebook I'd love for you to promote for me. No, that's not going to work. We need to dig our well before we're thirsty, because if you're digging your well when you're thirsty, when you need something, it's already too late, right? It's already too late. Mandy says, I did this yesterday because of this advice and it was awesome. Cool. Thank you for saying that. Bonjoro is a tool that Spanish and Go just mentioned, and Bonjoro is an absolutely fantastic tool. This is one way to quote unquote automate this a little bit. So let's say, for example, you have a product and you sell this product and you'd love to just send a quick message to people who just buy this product to make them feel even more special, especially after they've paid money with you. You could do this to brand new subscribers because it can connect on your email list as well, but typically it's done for customers. You can set up Bonjoro in a way such that when you get a new customer, you get an alert on your phone, you swipe, it says, Mandy just purchased Power Up Podcasting. Literally right there, you just, on your phone, it just told you she just purchased. Hey, Mandy, thanks for being here and for also purchasing Power Up Podcasting. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing about your new show. I'll see you on the inside. Bye. Boom. Personalized message within literally a minute after purchasing through Bonjoro, smartpassiveincome.com/Bonjoro, Bonjoro, in case you want to go through my affiliate link. And it literally will have like a 95% reply rate because it's a personalized video. Indeed, use that person's name. I know some people who use tools like this and they're like, oh, I'm going to make a video for all the Johns. I'm going to make a video for all the Mandys. I'm going to make a video for all the Pats. And I'm like, why go through the trouble? This is the moment to be personable, because that's what's going to have a person think differently about you versus other people who aren't doing this, right? So that's what I'd recommend doing and trying and giving a shot with, right? Bonjoro, Bonjoro. I promise you it's going to make an impact in your business one way or another. And even if you don't want to check out Bonjoro, like you have access to Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all platforms that have direct message capability where you can send a video or at least a voice thank you in real time to a real person. This is how you make superfans. And when you build superfans, you're going to have that point where people are going to continually support you. They're going to be your marketing team without you even asking for it. They're going to be people who will defend you from trolls before trolls even know you, before you even know trolls exist. And this is absolutely key. No matter what platform you're on, you can do this. All right. Xenia and Vlada said, digging your well before you're thirsty is such a good piece of advice. I did hear it after I was thirsty, and this was the biggest mistake I've made. I've learned a ton about connecting from you. Thanks. You're welcome. You know, it just means now, no matter what you're doing, proactively seek out building relationships and making people feel special. I learned this strategy from Jordan Harbinger, this thing called the Layoff Lifeline. Jordan Harbinger was on my show recently to talk about how he got kicked out of his own business and in fact was kind of left on the streets hanging. His partners took his name, took his podcast and ran with it and kicked him out entirely. And he was struggling. And at that moment, Jordan reached out to me. And because he had connected with me earlier, had sent me messages, just little quick check-ins every once in a while, again, digging the well before thirsty, now Jordan needed some help. And of course, I and everybody else that he's connected with were more than happy to help him get back on his feet. And now he has a podcast that's even more successful than his previous show that his ex-coworkers are actually hosting. So the Jordan Harbinger show has taken off. He's been able to interview people like Kobe Bryant before he passed and several other amazing people, and that wouldn't have happened. So pretty cool. So one thing that he says is with your connections, not even just with your audience, but colleagues and friends, make sure you're at least constantly keeping in contact with them every so often. It doesn't have to be like every day. Obviously, that would be a little bit annoying in many cases, but just every once in a while, like use your gut to go, hey, you know what? I haven't reached out to this person in a while. Let's see, like let me connect with them again. And again, your layoff lifeline, if you want to call it that. And a great thing that he taught me, and in fact, I did this exercise live at FlynnCon, which is really cool because here's what I did. FlynnCon is my event that happens in San Diego, and I wanted to do this live to just demonstrate how powerful this was. So I want you to imagine this. One stage, I'm on it, 500 people in the audience, and I tell everybody to unsilence their phone, to unsilence it. There's a pattern interrupt for you if there was one at an event, because typically you want to go the opposite direction, right? But I wanted people to unsilence their phone. And I'm going to demonstrate this for you right now so that you could maybe even do this too. In fact, I would encourage you to do this as we go along. So I want you to pick up your phone, if you have your phone, and open up your Messages app. And then in your Messages app, scroll all the way to the bottom, the very, very, very bottom. It's going to be like messages from probably years ago, right? And I want you to look for any names that stand out. And I'm going to reach out to those people because guess what? You haven't reached out to them in a very long time, right? So I'm going to message one person right now. And I'm just going to do this, right? Hey, Sally, it's Pat Flynn here. I was just thinking about you, and I have to say I miss hanging out. I remember when we were at Blackberry Farms together and just getting to know you. I'm sorry we haven't crossed paths since then, but I just wanted to reach out and say I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. But I miss you guys, and hopefully we can run into each other soon. Hope you're doing well during these crazy times. Boom. 20 seconds. And there you go. Do this for 10 people. And I did this live in front of the audience, and I just said, okay, everybody just stay silent and wait. And then after 30 seconds, bling. And then the back of the room on the other side, bling, 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 bling. Like the whole audience was lighting up. And this was really cool because every one of those dings was a new reconnection that was happening. And it was just so fun to see it live in person. And I was like, okay, everybody turn your phones off. And then every once in a while, there'd be one sort of randomly in the middle of another presentation. I'd be like, connection. Silence your phones, though. Rhino Dog said, I scrolled down and the bottom of my list was Pat Flynn. Yo, Rhino. What? But as you can see, this can be very powerful. And doing this every once in a while can be a great way for you to reconnect with people. In fact, when I did this at FlynnCon, there were a number of people who said, oh my gosh, I just found out the person I reached out to actually lives here in San Diego. I'm going to stay a whole extra day to spend time with them. I'm like, wow, that's super cool. Romer says, wait, you can send a voice message on your text? If you have iMessage, yeah, indeed. I'm not sure if you can do that on Android, but I'm pretty sure you can. I'm not quite sure. Pat, you were outdoing yourself today. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. And again, I appreciate your super chat earlier and your support for teachers this month. Whew. Anyway, we are at the end of our presentation today. Thank you for letting me talk about this. In fact, I have a big, major presentation about Superfans coming up, and this was a nice practice run for me, so I'm glad I was able to sort of get some cobwebs out and retell these stories and get some feedback from you in real time. Thank you for that, and I'm glad that, and I hope that this was helpful for you. If there's one strategy out of all this that has made a deeper impact than the others, please let me know in the chat before we finish up. I'm going to highlight some of them for you, and I am just really excited that hopefully you can create these connections. Hopefully you can take these strategies and at least pick one of these things and implement it in your business. And I'm looking forward to the day when you come back to me and say, hey, remember that strategy I learned on that one income stream? Like, that really worked. This stuff does work. This is why this book now has over 300 reviews on Amazon, which is really cool and unexpected, especially this quickly. If you've read this book and you liked it and you purchased it on Amazon, please feel free to help me out and leave a review on Amazon as well. But small, quick wins, sending voice messages, very, very personable, says Alfredo. Love it. Tim says small, quick wins for sure. Let's see. Yes, Android can do audio text, by the way, which is really cool. Freaking awesome stuff today, Pat Flynn. Video messages for sure. It takes like 30 seconds, makes a big difference. Yeah, and Rhino says, watch out for super stalkers. I mean, it is a chapter at the end of the book just to sort of protect yourself, right? Don't take pictures in front of your home. Don't, put your address or license plates in your images, even though the license plate search is sort of a myth right now. But it's still, you want to protect yourself as much as possible. There are some crazies out there in this world, but when you build Superfans, a lot of those Superfans are going to defend you from some of the crazies out there too, just especially when you get to a giant level. I mean, there's some YouTubers out there with, hundreds of millions of followers and fans who, have had people show up at their door randomly, and that kind of stuff is not cool either. But we definitely want to make people feel special. We definitely can utilize these strategies to grow our business and brand and build our following and get customers for life. And that's kind of what we want. We want customers for life who are a result of the experiences that we create for them over time. Because remember, a fan is not created the moment people find you. They're created by the moments that you create for them over time. So what's the name of the Bonjoro messaging app? If you go to, I'll give you the link right now. This is my affiliate link. There it is. Pat, these techniques really work. Nice to see everyone else's chat today, says Jennifer. I just sent 2 audio messages of 2 subs and they responded in like 1 minute, says the Swedish car guy. That's awesome. See, these things aren't new. They aren't revolutionary. They're just things that we had always had access to that we just didn't know how to use. And so I'm glad that I'm able to, and I was not forced to, but I was compelled to write this book so that I could package these strategies in a way that you can actually use them and get results. And again, this isn't like revolutionary, oh my gosh, mind-blowing stuff. This is like, hey, just like do these things with the things you already have access to make people feel special and make them feel like they belong. That's what it's about. So hopefully you're building Superfans in your business as we speak. Thank you all so much for an amazing day and all the support that you provide for me and the inspiration that you have for me. I will say that moving forward, Wednesdays will go back to its old time because it still overlaps my mastermind meeting as well as some other meetings at the 9 o'clock hour. So Wednesdays will still be at the much earlier hour. In fact, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. So that's going to go back to what it was on Wednesdays, because Wednesday's always different because I have some meeting. Wednesday's my meetings day. Monday's my writing day. Tuesday's my recording day. Wednesday is my meeting day. Thursday and Friday are cleanup days. So Wednesday being my meeting day, I have to shift things around a little bit. So it's going to be 7:30 a.m. next week. But I'll remind you guys, and I'll share a chat in the a message in the community board for the members here, and we'll just all remind each other. So anyway, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you. We're at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so regular time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern tomorrow, and that's at this link here, which you can memorize easily, patflynn.com/the-income-stream. I appreciate you. Great show today. Thanks, everybody. And I think it was, who was it? Menos or Luis or somebody who had mentioned Superfans yesterday. You were the inspiration for today's show, so thank you for that. Take care. Thanks so much, and as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace out, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Yo, I see we have superfans from Romania here. Claudio, thank you so much for being a fan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And it doesn't matter if you're a first-time viewer or a long-time viewer. And day 176 coming tomorrow in a row. Thanks so much, everybody. Peace out and much love.
Bruh.
Bye, y'all. Team Flynn for the win.